Terminal 1, Ticketing Drive, Staircase, and Baggage Claim Drive, recoding at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. We have two. Tarleton Corporation, TARLTON Corporation, $1,682,233.71. 1682233.71. Concrete Strategies, LLC, CONCRETE, Strategies, LLC, $1,308,836.15. 1,308,836.15. With the low bidder, please meet with Ms. Bryant in the hallway. Thank you. At this time, we need to have a president pro tem elected. Need a motion?
Second.
Okay. The following motion was approved by the following directors. Director Scobie is not present. Director Director Hayes, Director Augustin, Director Moore is not present, is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Pro Tem Wilson.
For me. Aye. All right. The board will hear one revocation hearing today, number 8196, a conditional use revocation hearing regarding 5400 Partridge. During the hearings today, testimony is being recorded. If you come forward to testify, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the board, not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach witnesses. During your testimony, members of the board may have questions for you. Following the hearing today, the board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the agenda, the board will deliberate and vote on the hearings. The board will notify the permit holders of its decisions by mail. Hearing 8196.
Mr. Chair, 81.
Oh, on the agenda. Oh, okay. So the agenda has... Hearing 8196, which hearing began on April 18, 2017, and is set now on May 15, 2018, after the matter has been tabled to allow the conditional use permit violations to be addressed, is being conducted pursuant to Section 26.100.030 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The purpose of the hearing is to determine whether the conditional use permit issued to Shark and Deli care of Abid Ahmed to occupy 5400 Partridge as a convenience store and carry-out restaurant, no liquor or cooking, subject to certain conditions, should be revoked. The conditional use permit number is 122542. In a warning letter dated December 23rd, 2016 to Shark and Deli, care of Abid Ahmed, for violations of conditions 4, 5, 6, 9, and 11 of conditional permit use number 122542 were listed. On April 18, 2017, the following two conditions, numbered 5 and 6, were still in violation. They read as follows. Item 5. There shall be no sale of items that can be used or are intended for use as drug paraphernalia as defined in Ordinance 68404 or its successor ordinances, including but not limited to food, scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine of pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there should be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used or adapted for use involving a controlled substance. Examples of which include, but are not limited to, the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swisher Sweets, Splitterillos, Backwoods, Optimo, Garcia, Vega, and Game. There shall be item 6. There shall be no loitering, for which applicant must post a no loitering sign and enforce it. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents which are being introduced into evidence. A certified copy of Section 26.100.030 of the Zoning Code of the City of St. Louis. Number 2, the conditional use permit number 122542 issued to Shark and Deli, care of Abid Ahmed, to occupy 5400 Partridge as a convenience store and carry-out restaurant store, no liquor or cooking, subject to certain conditions. Item 3, a letter dated December 23rd, 2016, sent to Shark and Deli, care of Abid Ahmed, from the zoning inspector, warning of the violations of condition number 4, 5, 6, 9, and 11 that were found upon a recent site inspection, and the potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within the 30 days of the date of the letter. Item 4, a memorandum from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator dated April 18, 2017, finding conditions numbered 5 and 9 of the conditional use permit still in violation. A memorandum from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator dated August 1, 2017, finding condition number 5 in violation. And a memorandum from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator stating that upon her investigation performed on January 31st, 2017, the zoning inspector still found violations of condition numbers 5, 6, and 9 of the conditional use permit. Item 5, public notices for today's hearings. Item 6, a certified letter dated April 11, 2018, sent to conditional use permit holder from the board's secretary, providing notice of today's hearing. The Office of the Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. After all evidence of the Zoning Administrator has been presented, the board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then the conditional use holder will be given the opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. Representation of Zoning Administrator. The board asks that the representative from the Office of the Zoning Administrator please come forward and be sworn in.
I do. Dylan Mosier, acting zoning inspector, the building commissioner. As you know, Myra Turner is the normal zoning inspector, and as I think we just a bit of history at this location. Myra's out of the office temporarily, emergency, so I was kind of thrown into this at the last minute, so I may not be able to answer a lot of questions about the history of it, but I can certainly tell you about my experience investigating the property today. And just before I get into all that, I will make a note that when I visited the site, there was an illuminated open sign in the window, but despite all that, the padlock on the door was locked, as well as or the deadbolt on the door was locked, as well as an additional padlock on the outside of the building, locking the door as well, was locked. So that's all to say that I wasn't able to access the property's interior, and so I can't verify whether certain conditions were complied with or in violation. And the first being condition number 5, there shall be no sale of items that can be used or intended for use as drug paraphernalia as defined in ordinance number 68404 or its successor ordinances, including but not limited to food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there shall be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used or adapted for use involving a controlled substance, including examples of which include but are not limited to the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owls, Swisher Sweets, Splitterillos, Backwoods, Optimo, Garcia y Vega, and Game. I wasn't able to access interior, so can't verify that. As for condition number 6, there shall be no loitering, for which the applicant must post a no loitering sign and enforce it. I have photos here that show no loitering signs. There's 4 in total posted to the exterior of the building on the 2 faces of the building that have street frontage. So there is signage there. However, there was a car parked out front in the parking lot with a man sleeping inside of it. Seems like loitering to me. I took a picture of the car. I didn't take a picture of the person themselves for my own safety. And in addition to those 2 conditions, I also found that condition number 11, all windows and doors must have no boards, mesh, grates, materials, or coverings of any kind. Windows and doors may have proper blinds or curtains on the inside of the windows. Condition number 11, I found to be in violation because all of the windows on the exterior of the building, as well as the glass door, have metal grates. And some spots even have some sort of board or something. It looks like they may have shelves in front of where the windows are. So in addition to not being able to access the building, I couldn't really even look inside the building to see if it was there. Anyone. And my photos. Did that cover all the conditions in question?
Let me ask you. I believe that condition 11 that you just spoke of is a new violation.
Yes.
This matter was tabled and continued to this date.
That was pointed out in December 23rd, 2016. Items 4, 5, 6, 9, and 11 were found. But recently in 2017, items 5 and 9 and 6 discussed, but I don't see item 11 ever be.
This is quite an old matter. Nolan Sharkey was the attorney at the original April, so we're approximately. They were notified that they would be allowed to address conditions. The matter would be tabled in approximately 20 days. This is substantially longer, 120 days. There are a variety of inspections that have had 4 different violations discovered, and I believe there were 4, 5, 6, and 9. But the most recent certified letter dated April 11th, 2018, was sent by the secretary to Abed Ahmed, Shark and Deli. notified him of the hearing today and cited condition 5 and conditions, which we've heard a report regarding status.
And that's the document that I based my investigation on. So I don't know if condition 11 was previously addressed or found to be in violation, but I guess from my perspective, it was new as of.
And just for clarification for myself, item 5 you couldn't verify because you couldn't get inside to see if item 5 was in compliance?
Correct.
The secretary brought it to my attention as well that they were given additional time to amend their conditional use to include another condition regarding. But it's my understanding that no request for amendment received. Okay, and she's indicating it.
Are there any other questions?
A couple, and you said you were brought in at the last minute. I respect that. Do you know offhand if there's I saw Alderwoman Boyd's name on one of the piece of paperwork, but do you know if we have a request or recommendation from the Alderwoman about this matter?
I don't know that. I can take a brief look at the file that I have here,
And
which I did.
And maybe Sharice, you may know that answer, or maybe if the Alderwoman sent a letter of it. I didn't see one. I was just curious.
I don't know,
Oh,
but
no
I know
problem.
she has been notified. She was notified of the hearing.
And just a couple other quick questions. Did BPS hear from an attorney or the conditional use holder since the April 11th letter? Have anybody heard from either of them between when the letter was sent and why they're not here today, it appears?
No, I didn't hear anything, but I do have a letter from the alderman in here, and it says, this letter is to offer my support of Abed Hamid's request for occupancy permit to occupy the business Shark and Deli as a convenience store and carry out with no liquor or outside seating located at 5400 Portrait. My support is based on our conditions set forth by zoning division as well as as defined in ordinance 68404. The applicant is not willing to comply with the conditions set forth, or if any changes are made to the application during the hearing, I reserve my right to withdraw my.
And is it common to approach a viable business and see that in fact it's padlocked? I know they can be closed, but would this be when you were there today, would that be a normal hours of operation where you wouldn't think it would be padlocked?
Well, the document that I had condition number 1 stating their hours of operation as 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. I was on site for approximately 15 minutes from approximately 10 a.m. I think I looked at my phone as I was leaving, and it was 10:12. So it was in the window of their normal hours of operation, and I personally think it's peculiar that they would have a flashing open lights in the window, and then no one can get access to the building.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now I ask, is there anyone else present who wishes to testify in support of the revocation? Please come forward and be sworn in. The record show there are none. Now the board asks that the conditional use permit holder come forward and be sworn in. The record show no one is present. Is there anyone present opposing this revocation that wishes to testify? Please come forward and be sworn in. Let the record show there are none. Additional documents to be introduced into evidence. The zoning inspector's report submitted during today's hearing. include we already had the letter from the alderman
Yes.
within the existing evidence? Okay, so that's nothing new. Are there any additional questions from the board? The matter concerning hearing number 8196 is now closed and submitted. The board will now move on to hearing number 8196.
To the board minutes.
Yeah, it should say, okay. We'll now proceed to the regular board meeting agenda.
From the President, plans and specifications for letting number 8669, Forest Park Dual Path Extension, St. Louis, Missouri, 63110. Aviation Fields Upgrade and Streetscape Improvements, Forest Park, for letting number 8670, plans and specifications. Addendum number 1 for letting number 8664, reconstruction of runway 12L through 30R outer panels from taxiway Lima to taxiway Juliet, replace runway 12L through 30R, electrical circuits, rehabilitate taxiway Kilo from runway 12L through 30R, safety area at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. From the President and Director of Streets. Joint recommendation that permit for Fox Grove Management, Compton Hill Properties LLC for wheelchair entry ramp at 2007 Ohio be approved subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Public Utilities, recommendation that emergency to make repairs to 60-inch diameter water transmission conduit on Water Division right-of-way in Olivet be approved. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions for AT&T. AT&T contractor will place 688 feet of fiber from a start point at the pole in the alley in the rear of 1424 Mississippi. Bore east across Vail Place to the grassy area, McNulty Street, Paper Street, to an existing 4-inch SOC at 1415 South 18th Street, Squires Restaurant, and 1435 South 18th Street. All construction will be in compliance with national electrical codes and local ordinance. AT&T will start at existing AT&T handhold located at the front of 5500 Hall Street. From this handhold, bore south down Hall for 1,450 feet. Stand about 14 feet from the edge of the roadway. Turn and bore across Hall for 86 feet, then before entering the private property at the front of 5501 Hall. Contractor to access manholes and bore 30 feet south to 4230 Gravois. Lane closures will be needed to access manholes. Bore from utility pole 12136 east for 20 feet. Turn north and bore 48 feet to building at 6625 Clayton Avenue, Port Clayton Apartment. Joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Charter Communications cut a 2 feet by 2 feet pothole at the base of the pole in the rear of 3629 Juanita. Bore in an eastbound direction 220 feet toward South Grand. Stop the bore in the rear of 3511 South Grand next to Ritz Park. Charter will be installing underground coax cable for a customer at 3137 South Grand. Recommendation that permit for XDNet from existing utility pole across from 1241 East Road, 5 feet to a proposed handhold be approved subject to certain conditions. From the Director of Public Utilities and Public Safety, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. 33,000 through 26 Minnesota LLC to subdivide land at 3,000 through 26 Minnesota in City Block 2063. City of St. Louis to subdivide land at 1321 Clark in City Block 207. Rise Community Development to consolidate land at 2849 and 2853 through 55 Keokuk and City Block 1633. 4156 Manchester Investors LLC to consolidate land at 4156 through 58 and 4148 through 50 Manchester and City Block 3992. West End Clinic, consolidate land at 5545 through 55 Robin and 5736 through 28 West Florissant and City Block 5134. Rankin Technical College, to consolidate land at 4301 through 09, 4321, 4335 through 39, 4341, 44, 43, 4345 Finney, and City Block 4558. West End Clinic, to consolidate land at 5531 and 5537 Robin, and City Block 5134. Joint recommendation that permit for Trident Realty Investments LLC to subdivide land at 4501 through 07 Pennsylvania in City Block 2720 be denied by reason of the fact of Board Order 720. From the Director of Streets. Recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Shake Shack, Missouri, LLC, doing business as Shake Shack, to encroach with Sidewalk Cafe, 13 tables and 38 chairs, utilizing 406 feet with liquor at 60 North Euclid. Three Queens Production, to encroach with Sidewalk Cafe, 6 tables and 24 chairs, utilizing 420 square feet at 400 Washington. Covo Unit 2, LLC, to encroach with Sidewalk Cafe, 10 tables and 20 chairs, utilizing 100 square feet with liquor at 401 Pine. Friends of Francis Park, to hang banners on 8 light poles at Eichelberger and Donovan and Nottingham and Tam and Eichelberger. Bevo Community Improvement District, to hang banners on 23 light poles along Gravois. India Rosada, to encroach with fabric canopy at 25 North Euclid. From the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. First Amendment of the Lease Agreement and Ordinance for the First Amendment of the Lease Agreement authorized by Ordinance 63956 between the City of St. Louis, Missouri, and the Municipal Theater Association of St. Louis, which will amend Section 2, Term Section 4. Other consideration, Forest Park improvements and Exhibit C of the lease. Such amendment will extend the initial lease term to 2071, amend the contributions to the Muni parking lot account, and will allow for additional repairs, improvements, or enhancements to lease premises and areas adjacent thereto. An agreement for extension of the contract for catering services entered into and by the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry and Orlando's Catering for an extension, the term of an extension from July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. Recommendation that permit for St. Louis University to fly a drone on Grand, Forest Park Parkway, McKinley Drive, and Clayton on May 25th, 2018 to September 25th, 2018, depending on the weather and approved dates may change. Recommends that permit be denied because the permit application lacks a drone license and FAA approval. From the Director of Public Safety, recommendation that permit for 3 Rivers Inn to operate a bed and breakfast inn at 1420 through 26 North Broadway be approved subject to certain conditions. Recommendation that the following festival zones be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Downtown STL, Inc., May 18th through September 29, 2018, all Fridays and Saturdays starting May 18, 2018 through September 29, 2018, May 27, 2018, July 3rd through 8, 2018, September 2nd, 2018, for the Washington Avenue corridor. Washington between 10th, St. Charles, 16th, and Lucas from 10 to 4 a.m. Woodward Elementary 5K Run, May 23, 2018. Streets in front of the school to be blocked while the 5K is going on. 5K start at Bellerive and Colorado going west toward Louisiana. Turn on Louisiana going south and come up Bellerive going east to turn at the turn that would be the dead end. St. John COGIC Community Fun Day, June 9, 2018 at 20th between Bissell and Ferry. St. Gabriel's Parish Grounds, St. Gabriel's Parish Picnic, June 9, 2018 at St. Gabriel's Parish Grounds, Francis Park and surrounding streets, Nottingham, Tam, Childress, and Murdoch. The Macklin Mile, June 30th, 2018, 1 mile run on Macklin from Sublette to Devonshire, finishing with the street festival at Macklin and Devonshire. Now we have the condition.
Good afternoon, Mr. President Pro Tem and members of the board. My name is Terrell Lyman, Plan Examiner for the City of St. Louis, representing the Building Commissioner. For Board Order Number 7, transmitted herewith are recommendations for the following conditional use applications. Approval with conditions is recommended for 7 applications, and they are 4438 Kossuth, 3417 Hartford, 6112 West Florissant, 34 Goodfellow Boulevard, 8501 North Broadway, 1015 North Grand, and 4600 Gravois Avenue. Request that these recommendations be approved, submitted. Any questions or comments about these applications?
Seeing none, I seek a motion.
Motion to approve.
Moved and seconded. Ask for a vote.
Director Scobie is not present. Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore is excused. Director Edwards. President Bradley is excused. President Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Passes. And move on to the meeting minutes for May 8th, 2018. Seek a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Moved and seconded. Ask for a vote.
Director Scobie is not present. Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore is excused. Director Edwards. President Bradley is excused. And President Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Passes. Now I move on to the May 15th agenda. I believe we have one change to the agenda to reflect the hearing number. It's supposed to be 8196, not 8216. Oh.
A motion to amend and correction.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ask for a vote.
Director Scobie is not present. Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore is excused. Director Edwards.
Aye.
President Bradley is excused. And President Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Passes. Do we have to do it again? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know if we did do. That was just on the amendment. So now we do it on full. Now we seek a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Motion to approve.
Passes. Call for vote.
Director Scobie is not present. Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore is excused. Director Edwards. President Bradley is excused. And President Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Okay. Now we'll deliberate on the hearing for the revocation. Open this to discussion. I think just myself right off the top, without item 5, without being able to access the building for item 5 to be validated, I think we're pretty much where we came into this. So I guess I would seek a motion that we table this till we're able to enter the premises and verify that item 5 is in compliance or not in compliance.
And that is
Correct.
cigar
Right.
smoking.
Right. Specific to the interior of the building, right.
I will make a motion, President. I agree with your comments. I know, hearing from the city councilor, Ms. Burkett, this is, and some of the paperwork, this has gone on for a long time. I'm not trying to filibuster here, but the only thing we can hang our hat on at this point in terms of a violation known is 6, it appears. And I believe I make a motion that we table this because of the inability to access the building to check out the number 5 violation, and that's important in this matter. So we have to find a way to access that, and I don't see this going beyond the next 30 days if we can't access the building. So my motion is to table this hearing for 30 days.
Second.
Moved in second. We have a vote.
Director Scobie is not present. Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore is excused. Director Edwards. President Bradley is excused. And President Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Tabled for 30 days. That it? All right. I guess I seek a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, Rich does.